Hello everyone, this is season 4 of Bronze, and of course this is the season review. Then of course it's a traditional thing to end the season off, as we've got a spinner right in the midfield there. Unfortunately Spudhead has not had a good start to the season. Liam, who's been the admin of Bronze, and I gotta say he's had his hands full, as you will see throughout this season review as well. But alongside me tonight is of course the very cool, calculated and calm is Alex. And Alex, welcome.
Hello there.
And hello. Well, of course, before we, as we're just taking a look at the opening stage of Bronze, is what turned out to be a fantastic yet a very action-packed season for Bronze. Going into the season, then a bit like Silver, really. Not from my point of view, because I had no idea who was going to win Bronze. And with Silver, I had a bit of an idea, but that was completely wrong. With Bronze, I had no earthly idea. Did you have any guesses about this? We've got a lot of spinners on the opening up. Did you have any idea about who was going to do well in Bronze this season?
No, not at all, really. So I think I was looking forward to watching Bronze, because it was going to be, like you said, with Silver, it was going to be very competitive. It's going to be drivers from all sorts of different teams, different abilities, sort of battling for wins and things like that, and for points. So yeah, it really sort of was going to throw up a few strange results and a few interesting results as well. So yeah, it was looking forward to Bronze getting underway, of course, and it was good to see all the grid sort of turning up. I think there was only a couple of reserves turning up on have to turn up on this one, because I think everybody made it pretty much. So it was great to get underway.
It really was indeed. I think a lot of people enjoyed Silver, didn't they? Good gosh, there. So we've got a huge accident there to, goodness gracious me there. And I think that I do quite enjoy a good crash or two, to be honest, there, but that's because I'm a commentator and I have an evil side to me. This was race, I'm sure, had 6 safety cars in this one, which is the most ever in an ALR race, which kind of was a sign of things to come. Wouldn't you agree, Alex, with this explosive Bronze season?
Yeah, I think, like I said, it is a brand new game, and a lot of people are getting used to the game. It always results in more incidents, I think, because of that, because everyone's trying to get familiar with the game and trying to get used to it, of course. So having that issue in terms of adapting to the game whilst beginning the league racing season, like I said, I think it was only a week or so between the game coming out and the season starting, because of the time sort of issues that we had, time frame we had, but to get it all done before Christmas. But other than that, it was I had a lovely turkey, so I'm all good.
Absolutely beautiful stuff indeed there. And I'm still tasting my turkey at the moment. We've got Ayrton just powering up the hill as well. Talking of Ayrton, and he got relegated from Silver last season. He loves this stat. I'm going to say it again. He was the first driver in ALR history to get a win and be relegated there. But Ayrton was leading this race, and Ayrton got Ayrton, Billet, and I think it was Baz who got relegated from Silver into Bronze. And then we had a couple of drivers go up from COBALT to Silver. It was Joseph and oh gosh, now I'm in trouble, Alex. You may have to save me. I've forgotten who the third person was.
Joseph and You Mad Bro and Starbust. No, it wasn't Starbust. Sorry, I'm getting confused as well with all.
It was Irvine, wasn't it? Thank you very much, Alex.
Of course it was. Sorry, yes, that's what I meant. Yeah.
Shocking behaviour from the ALR admins, goodness me. Yes, and of course it was. They really had a unique dynamic in Bronze, and I was looking forward to this one as well. And of course, we've seen Billet and Enright there. I think in this race there, Billet there was really showing some fight there. We didn't see much of Billet last season in Silver, and of course Enright there, who a very outspoken driver in the ALR Bronze world. A great lunge up the inside there. Enright is a very good qualifier, because I think he ended the season with 5 pole positions to his name, right there. So good stuff indeed then. But at the moment there is Connexen, who I think this was Connexen's first Grand Prix in ALR, and goodness me, he was leading with 6 laps to go. Alex, how difficult was that? How difficult was it for Connexen to lead a race then on your debut?
Yeah, I think it. Well, I think it must be difficult. Like I said, it hasn't happened to me, of course. So I haven't been that far up in my debuts. Yeah, I think it'd be very difficult. And like I said, started. I think he was probably under a bit of pressure, as we've seen Ayrton now overtake him, with Ayrton right behind him all of the race, pretty much. I think, or on this stint after the safety car. So yeah, Ayrton putting the pressure on, and like I said, a good fight, I think, for the lead of this race.
I really enjoyed this race as well. Obviously because of the 6 safety cars, but that's because I'm an evil person, as I mentioned earlier on. Oh gosh, and look at how tight it was getting there. Fantastic, I loved that. Oh dear, as Connects in the wall then, unfortunately. So his debut unfortunately ended in the wall there for Connects, but he had a superb race as well. We've got a safety car right at the very end then. Alex, I must admit, Ayrton going for his first Grand Prix win and bronze, the second Grand Prix win of his career in ALR. How much Ayrton must be feeling right at this moment then, as he comes across the line with the safety car finally coming in then, and of course getting relegated last season to winning this race there.
He'd be ecstatic, hopefully. So, yeah, it was an absolutely outstanding race from Ayrton. I think, like I said, with the safety cars, it really does throw up a difficulty, because all the strategies are sort of thrown out the window. You don't know what to do, whether to pit or whether to stay out, that sort of thing. But he kept his head down and kept it cool, and got to the finish line in first place. So yeah, that's credit to him. And like I said, bouncing back from, I think, disappointment probably from being relegated in the previous season from Silver, bouncing back in exactly the right way to do it, and getting a win in the first race of the season.
And it was a really good first race win as well, because I think that he absolutely nailed the strategy superbly well. We're going to, I don't want to steal your thunder, Alex, but I want to talk about Vintage there. And I'm going to say this a lot, but Vintage has been my driver of the season there. I think from all leagues, he has been superb. I think he only scored 6 points, I'm sure, in bronze last season. It was 6 or 8 points. Well, this season, he's already, in this race alone, he's already outscored what he had last season. He has been absolutely incredible, Vintage, this season. He has been on tip-top form. How did Vintage go from being from getting points from on a good day, scoring like a couple of points, to being a points regular this season, and being, I think he was one position away from the promotion spot into silver? How did he do that?
Well, he kept it. He kept his focus, kept his concentration on his races. It obviously meant that he would be under pressure from the other guys on the grid, but he basically just made sure that whether he was the slower driver or not, or the faster driver compared to the competitors he was racing up against, he was going to make sure that he got to that finish line. And I think a lot of people in bronze, specifically this season, were more competitive, but it was ruining their races because they were having more incidents. And Vintage was the one who went the opposite way, focused on his race and only his race rather than everybody else's, and then kept those consistent results coming in and got them big points from it.
I know we go on to France now as well, and bronze. I say that I was looking forward to bronze every week, and that was mainly down to you guys, the viewers, as well as the drivers on circuit, because I think that bronze was the second most watched league race in ALR, behind gold this season, because it was so. I think it was just because it was competitive and it was so action-packed, as we seen just there. As we just watching Echo, and oh my word, that's a hellacious crash there from Shatters. Can we talk about Echo first, so if that's all right, Alex? He's returned back to ALR. He had a pole position in only his third race in his career in ALR Gold, and he was back in bronze this season. What would you expect for Echo then, with such credentials?
I thought he was capable of getting some good points, some good wins even as well. I think sometimes it just didn't materialise for him. So yeah, it was a bit of a difficult situation, I think, for Echo over the season. But yeah, credit to him for getting back into the league, and obviously and putting on a good show, and helping bronze have a great season as it has done.
It has indeed. I was just watching Baz and Roscoe. Baz, I think, showed that he is a superb driver as well. We didn't see much of Baz, unfortunately, as Swan Shanks has visited where his teammate left the track, unfortunately, as the AlphaTauris are just having a bit of issues. And AlphaTauri this season, by the way, out of 4 leagues, they have won in 3 of the 4 leagues at least once. And that is a good old lunch there from Billet, goodness me. But unfortunately, he probably should have got out of that one there. Billet then, we've seen the best of Billet, but we also seen instances like that where perhaps he should have backed off a bit. It's quite easy for me to say that up here then, because I'm just sat here and I'm just talking about it. How difficult is it when you're in race mode to think about maybe I need to back off here?
It is difficult. I think actually in both those situations in this race with Balint, there was a glitch again, that basically he couldn't see the other driver, which is why there was that incident, because obviously he didn't know the other car was there. It just didn't show up on his screen. I remember that being I remember seeing that in the footage post afterwards, because of course unfortunately it did affect two people's races, but it was nothing that Balint could do, unfortunately, about that. But yeah, you need to make sure that you keep your head on it. Even if you're involved in an incident, you need to make sure you keep your head. A lot of people react badly to being involved in an incident, and of course it is natural rather to react when somebody unfortunately clips you like that, for example, and sends you spinning. But there's nothing you can do about it until you cross that finish line. You need to make sure you get back, get your head clear, and get going again as quickly as you can, without spinning up your tyres, and then you can report it after the race and deal with it then. Again, we've seen that was the Balint incident there where he couldn't see alibi, unfortunately. But yeah, you just need to make sure that the incident's done, focus on your race now, carry on, get to the end, and then worry about the footage and things like that and the incidents afterwards. There's no point in arguing. There's no point in having a go at somebody afterwards. All you need to do is get the footage in, because that's the only thing that's going to affect what happens in terms of the penalties and things moving forward.
And I retract my statement there, Ballot there. I'm an appalling person. I should have known that. So I remember seeing it as well, because I think we were talking about in the Liam, yeah, and you were talking about in the chat there, and I was quite surprised to see that as well, because that's something I've never seen before on this game now. So we did talk about some of the bugs in Silver, notably the Canadian Grand Prix, unfortunately.
Yeah, it happened in Esports actually, with Jarno Opmeer and David Tanitsa. They were racing in Canada, and Opmeer couldn't see Tanitsa and completely wiped him out. Yeah, it was literally it was something that I didn't think I hadn't seen before as well, and hadn't seen in any ALR race, and then it happened. It happened in bronze in this race as well. So it was just a shame for Alibi and Roscoe, I think it was, who were affected by it. But of course, Balint didn't know what was going on. It's just again, glitches and things like that need to be sorted and need to be fixed, because it is ruining the game for people.
It is indeed, and that was unfortunate for both Alibi and Roscoe, who was having superb races up to then. And unfortunately, Bullet was the unfortunate victim of that glitch as well. But to be honest, though, Bullet has had a great season in Bronze. And up until I think it was one of the final races of the season, the Bullet, in every race that he participated in, he had scored points in, which was absolutely fantastic stuff indeed there for Bullet there. And I think that we did see flashes of brilliance from Bullet as well in the silver race of Monaco. I remember him and Gordo was supreme in that race. Irvine there moving up from 4 position as well. And Phelan, who became a meme, didn't he, for a couple of weeks when he was in bronze there, as we had a lot of puns there as well, if I remember rightly. Going into Austria, Alex, I know you have fond memories of this place, notably season 2 and 3. But as a track, then, it looks very simple, does it there? There's only 9 turns, 10 if you want to get a bit pedantic about it, but it's 9 turns. It looks simple to me, is it?
Absolutely horrible track. I don't like it at all. Based on experience, that is, of course. So yeah, every time I league race around here, it never goes well for me. So yeah, it's got a downvote in my book. But in some cases, like you said, it is a very simple track. There's very limited corners, and it is just three sort of DRS zones, really 3 straights, and then a few little bits in the middle, sort of thing, to wind it all back round so that you can start the lap again. But yeah, it seems to be a track that's it's not over or underrated, I would say. I think it's just a track that people don't mind racing. But I'd say it does throw up quite a few surprise results every now and then, and quite a lot of incidents as well, actually.
Yeah, I'm very evil there, Alex, because I know how much pain you've suffered around here. You should have won at least one of two Grand Prix around here in ALR, especially that's one where rain affected both you and Murphy, if I remember rightly, in season two. And that overtake there between Camera Racer, who went in between Ross G and Echo, was supreme stuff indeed. I wish I had a better camera angle of that because I was in all of that. How difficult is that to do, Alex? Have you ever been able to like thread the eye of the needle and go between two cars like that up into turn two here?
No, definitely not, because I'd be way too scared to do that for fear of my front wing or my car being destroyed. So I would never have done anything like that in terms of lunging down the inside with two cars trying to go into turn three, I'd say, call it, because I'm going to be pedantic about it. Sorry, but yeah, so. Yeah, it was a great move there from Kamara Race, and I think obviously his home Grand Prix, he wanted to do well, wanted to get a move on and get ahead of those two guys. So yeah, credit to him, and yeah, he's been an outstanding driver. I think he's been in a lot of bronze races. I think he's been one of the top sort of bronze drivers in terms of attendance as well. So ever since the league began, as we got a bit more contact there from Joseph and Mings, but yeah, so credit to Kamara Racer, and I think he got a bit unlucky later on in this race, didn't he, from memory? But hopefully he can carry on next season as well and get some good performances in.
Yeah, him and Ayrton have got Camaro Racer and Ayrton have got the highest attendance in bronze history there. I can't remember the exact about there, but it's very impressive stuff indeed there from both drivers. They're really superb stuff there, especially for Camaro Racer, because he has been a bit unlucky. Sometimes he has created his bad luck, but other times he's just been in the wrong place at the wrong time. This is great battling by Echo and Ross G there, and I must say that was getting very pinchy there, Alex. I'm not sure about you, but I was clinching at that moment.
Yeah, I got scared as well. I was like, "Oh dear, something's going to happen here." But no, it was good racing from Echo and Roshdi there, wasn't it? So yeah, well done to both of them getting into the corner cleanly. But yeah, very difficult corner actually that as well, especially because it's quite an easy one to try and get an overtake sorted. But it is very difficult at the same time, making sure you get through side by side without spinning and without making contact. So well done to both of them.
And to get through on your own as well, because maybe I'm just not very good at the game, Alex, but I can't get through that corner on my own. But that's for a different story for a different day. This is a short circuit. This one is only 36 laps around here, as this gets a bit too friendly. Well, we'll talk about the short circuit in a minute. There is a camera racer. Was that a bit optimistic on the outside of Mings? I think that he probably wouldn't have been looking on that side of the track, because he would have been going because he would have been turning into that right-hander there, wouldn't he?
Yeah, I think you need to be aware of the drivers on track, and I think again that comes with the focus and the concentration as well. If you're not concentrating on what you're doing, you're going to miss drivers who are around you, and it does cause incidents when that sort of thing happens. But as unfortunately Echo loses it there. But yeah, on that incident itself, I think yeah, it was just a bit of lack of concentration from the Ferrari, and it meant that he didn't see the Alfa Romeo of Kamara Race coming up the inside, or coming on the outside. Sorry.
And that was absolute heartbreak for Camera Racer as well, wasn't it? Because this was, as you said, it was his home Grand Prix as well. He was doing a superb job. This was his best race in his of his season, in my opinion. Immortal would go on to become the silver championship, third place in the championship in silver there. But at the moment in time, he was the reserve in this race. He did a supreme job indeed there with Ross G in second position there. But so it's because it's just a short circuit, Alex. So 36 laps then. We talked about Spa and how long that circuit is. This is the complete opposite. It's a short circuit, 64 seconds a lap time around here. What does that do for you as a driver?
Well, it just means you need to get set up right. You need to be quick, because it's not as challenging, I would say, as Spa. As Belgium is the longest track on the calendar, I think it is, in terms of distance. So yeah, it's not as challenging, I would say, purely because there's less corners and less things to worry about. But you still have to keep that concentration. As we've seen earlier, you can still have plenty of incidents regardless of the length of the track. So yeah, it can be difficult sometimes. So you just need to make sure that you keep it focused and get to that finish line.
And indeed, there and the drivers that did have the most focus did get to the line now in a very action-packed Grand Prix. That Austrian Grand Prix was a good gracious me there. At the moment, there Theo then who was leading the way then from Ayrton in second position. There is that Theo is starting to extend his lead then with McLaren, who is taking a early advantage in the constructors. Then, but one thing I loved about bronze this season, Alex, was how close the constructors championship was there. We'll see later on of how tense it gets. It was a brilliant showdown there, but. I think the drivers don't really. Do they really care about the Constructors' Championship? I certainly did, but that's because that's the only thing I'm ever going to win in ALR. So that was a career achievement for me. But do drivers are drivers concerned about the Constructors' Championship? Is that something they really want to win?
I think the drivers who really excel and do well, and you can see that in the other leagues so far this season as well, and in bronze. Are the ones that work together, work well as teammates in all the leagues, in any league really, that is, not just in ALR as well. So yeah, the drivers that sort of want to do well with their teammate and want to sort of push on and get good results together are the ones that really have that mindset of working together. And actually, the actual concept of what F1 is about is a team sport, really. I know there's individuals in there and you fight for the drivers' championship, etc. But at the end of the day, it's team sport. You have to work together, teams of hundreds of people working on two cars effectively. So you need to keep an eye on constructors. You need to work together with your teammate.
It's a very unusual sport, isn't it? There, where you're fighting as a team, but you also try to win it as an individual. Very unusual indeed. We had a wet race here in Hungary in bronze this season there, and of course, as the track is starting to dry out there, we've got a lot of drivers going on to the dry tyres here. So, Alex, from a driver's point of view, then changeable conditions then around a very tight and twisty circuit as the Hungarian Grand Prix. I think grip is quite low around this circuit at the best of times, but especially on a greasy surface. Then, what do you do then? I think it's a driver's instinct, isn't it? Surely to come into the box and change tyres.
Yeah, it's very difficult. You need to make sure you get the timing right. Of course, being on the right tyres at the right time is very important in league racing and in real life, of course. It just have to make sure that you got it right, especially around Hungary. I think it's a difficult circuit to drive technically as well, 100% just in the dry. So not even without any battling as well, without battling drivers like we're seeing here. So with changeable conditions and then the sort of adaptation to the track that you're going to have with the new dry tyres when it has finally dried out properly, then you need to make sure you're very cautious, very careful on those few laps, as well as all the rest of the laps as well, but especially on those few laps when the crossover happens.
Indeed, and of course, unfortunately, Theo did demonstrate quite nicely about being on the right tyres at the right times. He stayed out one lap too long, and he lost the lead and is down in sixth position. And this is probably one of the worst tracks. You want to really not lose position and be stuck behind a train. It is very difficult to overtake on this circuit. How do you approach a Grand Prix event now, knowing that overtaking is at a premium? Do you focus on qualifying more? Do you adjust the setup so that you're more on a one lap pace kind of thing, or do you still focus on the race because that's where the points are at?
You have to focus on, you can focus on both, of course, but I focus mainly on the race as a whole in general, rather than just this track either. But as a whole in general, just making sure that the race is the one that that's the one you get points in, isn't it? So you can only get the points in the race rather than qualifying. So you need to make sure that you're going to have a good race. It's making sure that you set the car up just right. Again, a lot of drivers will have issues where they set the car up for qualifying and it doesn't work with them in the race. And again, it can happen the other way around. So potentially it will be difficult to get some overtakes done around Hungary, for example. But then again, you never know what's going to happen. Of course, strategy can be thrown into that as well. So there's lots of different sort of variables that can be thrown in to move you back up the grid as well as your own pace.
And we've just seen a couple of pit stops now then with the safety car out then with just a couple of laps to go. We've got just over two-thirds race distance left then. Silent Shifter making a return back to ALR after about a season or two out then. It's great to see some of the old guard coming back then. We've already talked about Young Lights return back to gold then, and Clark as well. But it's great to see some of the old drivers coming back into ALR then. We must be doing something right, surely.
Well, we want to keep keep as many people in the league as we can. And I think only the good leagues who are going to grow are the ones that sort of retain the drivers, and we want to put on a league racing experience that everybody enjoys. I know it's going to be difficult every week because you can't have a good race every week, and something might go wrong. But yeah, the idea is that we work as hard as we can so that we can put on a good league for everybody, and we hope that obviously everybody can see that and can enjoy that as well, and it benefits everybody then, and we can keep you guys racing, keep you guys happy. So yeah, it's just unfortunate in some cases. Like I said, we've had a few people who've had to drop out, like for example because of work or because of universities and that, unfortunately. But hopefully one day we can get them back as well, and we shall see.
Definitely, I echo that sentiment entirely. Then, of course, Curly and Wash Maldonado, we hope you come. Well, of course, Wash Maldonado did actually come back, didn't she? There, but Curly we'd like to see back as well after he got a Grand Prix win earlier on in silver. We said now that Enright there was very keen to overtake Baza. This is one of Baza's best races in ALR this season. However, I did feel Monaco was quite cruelly robbed of Baza's impressive performance there. As you see, Ayrton, Theo, and a load of all the other gang there really battling away at the moment. This is absolutely fantastic. There is Alibi has gone off quite violently there. At this stage, bronze is absolutely incredible there. So I would say that bronze is really, it was so difficult to judge the season, wasn't it really? Because I feel that Theo was in the championship, but it was anyone's guesses who was going to be challenging there. We had Ayrton, we have Enright. On this day, we had Shadows and maybe Swanshanks as well. And we had Camera Racer in Austria. And of course, Silent Shift in here tonight as well, doing a supreme job then. How difficult was it for Theo to focus on one driver, or can't you do that in this game?
No, I think you don't have to focus on any driver really. You have to focus on your own race, your own performance. It is obviously you're going to have races where you're going to be battling the same person, and you're going to have to think about what you're going to do next to counteract their next move, sort of thing. But yeah, it's just something that naturally will happen in racing in general, and in league racing as well.
Oh, indeed, then, and I think that is definitely famous words there from Alex. Is out of the final turn then comes Silent Shift. I think that was his first win in ALR in a very long time, because I'm sure he won in gold actually, Silent Shift there. But this is his first league race in a very long time. Irvine doing a great job in second. We haven't spoken much about Irvine, have we, in this season? But he does start to really flourish later on. Then Baz getting on the podium, so that was his one and only podium, unfortunately, this season. Theo once again getting second, and even after that strategy calamity there from Theo, he still moved up into second there. So I think that was the strength of the character of Theo. He's a young driver, Theo is, but my goodness me, Alex, he really came back quite strongly in that race.
Yeah, again, has that mentality, that mindset that he needs to get back into the race, similar to Emerson, I would say, where even if he's having a bad race, he just focuses on what he can do and gets back in the points. And I think, like you said, he didn't have the strategy right at the beginning of this race, but then it came back to him because he had that pace, he had that mentality to get back in and fight for any point that he could get. So yeah, just shows the credit, shows his ability and the credit to him for doing that. Again, a 25-point gap now in terms of the championship lead for Theo, and just extending that lead as well.
Indeed, and that's probably quite demoralising, isn't it, for the chasing pack then as well. As we go on to Zandvoort, then the Dutch Grand Prix, and that's a good start. Oh gosh, oh my goodness me, wow, how I don't want to bring back bad memories, Alex, but how annoying must that be then to retire from the race before you even got past the start-finish line? This it seems like someone had an issue there. I think that we again, it was something to do with the game, was it, where the lights desynced, or am I just making that up?
I think there was an issue because I think somebody's lights didn't go off and some people's lights did, so it was all a bit of a mess from Codemasters there. But yeah, it was a bit of a shame that, because like I said, it ruined a few people's races. Some people got penalties and things like that. But yeah, it was a shame because like I said, I think it was Joseph that had a glitch or something and couldn't get off the line, or couldn't go off the line because of his situation with the lights. So yeah, again, that sort of thing that needs to be fixed from Codemaster's side, really.
Yeah, it's an absolute shame as well. And some people might say, well, why don't they just drive around then? But when you're going for the start is the most important race, most important part of the race, and you're very much at you're at the edge of your reactions, at the edge of your limit of your senses, of your eyes, and of course, and just wait until for those lights to go out there. So you can't just dodge something that you're not expecting. And remember, we've had a lot of nasty incidents in Formula 2 and Formula 1 as well. I think there where someone went to the back of someone at one time as well. So even the best do get it wrong as well. Then it's into the pits. There comes Enright. You see, has a 5-second penalty here. Enright does, and I think that was I'm sure that was for speeding under the virtual safety car. We had a lot of 5-second penalties this season, Alex. Which sometimes possibly, like we got one there from Ross G. How easy or difficult is it there to avoid these 5-second penalties for, I would say, silly errors then? But how silly are they, these safety car, these speeding in the safety car and these speeding in the pit lane?
Well, it's something that easily can be avoided from any driver, as Jamie Enright unfortunately not having a great restart. But it's very easy to do and for it to happen. But like I said, can easily be avoided. And I think, like I said, even under safety car, a lot of people were sort of relaxed and they're not concentrating as hard as they are when they're actually racing, which is natural. But again, you need to make sure that that you're not bumping into cars ahead of you and behind you and that sort of thing, because that's what causes the penalties. And the same with the sort of speeding in the pit lane as well. It can easily be avoided. It's just trying sort of over eagerness of getting into that pit lane like I said, it's just something that over time, once you get sort of more familiar with the game, the more races you do, the more league races you do, the more sort of experience you've got of those situations, and you'll end up not getting those sort of penalties and things like that.
As a bullet was going into a gap that was always going to close, unfortunately, there in the Alfa Romeo. We just seen the last race on this review that was the first time that Bullet didn't score points in his bronze career. We got Shatters leading the race at the moment there, and this is the best of Shatters there, because I think that Shatters is such a quality driver, but unfortunately does seem to be involved in a lot of shenanigans. We've got another safety car with just a couple of laps to go here in Zandvoort, as well as the Ferrari mechanics are going to work then. Of course, and it's not just about the driver, it's also about the team ethic as well, as Knowles, who mentioned earlier on in this program. And look at this queue of cars there. There's a Taylor McKenzie, who I think that this is his one of his early races there for McKenzie. And look at this, as we've got 3 going down into turn 1. We were saying that this is a track that can be difficult to overtake on, very similar to Hungary, but there are overtaking opportunities around here, isn't there?
I'd say there's a couple, tiny bit more than Hungary potentially, but it is still a very difficult track. Again, not many people have. Well, I would say not many people have raced it, but it is a new addition to the game, to the F1 calendar even as well. So it's been a limited track for racing, just purely because of the time frame that it's been in the games and things like that. So I think we've only done 2 races in ALR around Zandvoort, so for bronze anyway. It's always going to be difficult, especially so. Getting used to the game, getting used to the track. Sorry, with the new game sort of mechanisms, things like that as well. It is something that everyone needs to sort of take some time to do, because otherwise it's not going to feel right, and going to cost you in the race. But I'd say difficult to overtake, but still, like I said, the main straight is obviously the best place for overtaking. But there's still sort of opportunities here and there as well.
How long does it take then for a driver to, as Ross G has gone off in quite a major way, and he's unfortunately Theo has collected that as well, and that just shows the trials and tribulations of a Grand Prix driver. As Theo, we've seen how great he was in Hungary and how he came back, and unfortunately it's just luck of the draw sometimes, isn't it? But going back to my original question there, how easy or how long does it take then for a driver to learn a new track then? How long does it take for you to learn a track, Alex?
Well, I'd probably say I haven't learned any tracks yet. So there's plenty there's a lot of laps that can go into it, and of course, I think there's always going to be aspects of a lap or a race that you can improve on. Even if it's just a standard sort of race, there's no other issues to worry about. It's even that you can have areas to improve on. So it's is just something that sort of over time, the more you do, the more consistent, the more sort of acclimatized to the track you will become.
And you see that was quite a brutal old race, wasn't it, for these drivers tonight? Well, not tonight, of course. Back in, September time, wasn't it? We only had 9 finishers in the end there. Brutal old circuit, indeed. And we've seen that halfway through that race, Shatters was very much in firm control there, but very much like Ayrton this season, not to the extreme extent of Ayrton, but Shatters has had a lot of bad luck then. The drive, I gotta say, Alex, you can't really control luck, can you? But how difficult is it to try and get yourself get yourself out of the mindset? Oh, I'm going to get bad luck. The safety car keeps messing up my races and things like that, or tire strategy or weather just doesn't go my way. Do you get bogged down with stuff like that as a driver?
I think it can definitely have an effect, and the sort of confidence and the mentality of a driver will get affected if it keeps sort of happening. I think there is always going to be that point where it will turn around, and it's even the same the other way around. If there's a point when you're winning every race, and there's a point where you're not going to win that next race, and it's just natural. But yeah, it's just making sure that you get your head down and keep going, really, because it's you never know what's going to happen in the next race, and it always changes.
And we go on to Russia now. Like Mexico, Russia is such a long drag, and unfortunately it's Theo who's got the short straw here, albeit being on pole position. You surely shouldn't get the short straw, should you? But that's exactly what happened here. Then a long drag down to turn 1, and albeit it's turn 2, actually, isn't it? The first braking point then. And Shatters, everyone having to look up the inside there, of course, in the Red Bull with a unique livery, of course, there. Is that as a tribute to the Honda, wasn't it? As we go through the signature turn 3, then, oh dear, as Connects there has gone off and actually connected with the wall there. Going into this at Russian Grand Prix, then the championship was very much finally poised, wasn't there? However, this season in Bronze, we've had so many twists and turns there. We've had Theo very much who's been, I wouldn't say dominating the season there, but he's certainly been on top more often than not. Then, but he's had the chasing pack behind him there. It's been several different aspects of the season, which has been absolutely mega stuff indeed. There, once again, Shatters there in the later stage of the season there, it's been pretty on it there, but I think in this race as well, he does also get the short straw. We've seen, again, it's great to see some of the old guard like Gunnar, who made a step down from silver to being at bronze this season. Of course, Gunnar's been a very good advocate to ALR, hasn't he, over the years, Alex?
Yeah, definitely. I think he's been here a very long time, hasn't he? So one of the old guard, like I would say. But so yeah, he's it's been good to have him racing in I think in pretty much every division we've had so far. So so credit to Gunnar for always being a consistent driver and turning up.
Indeed, there good stuff indeed there from Gunnar, and of course, and no disrespect to Gunnar, he's not always the quickest driver on the circuit, but hats off to him to always being a part of the grid. Then, of course, I was talking about the change of dynamics in Bronze then, and there's a big change in dynamic in Bronze then in the final stretch of this season then, because Joseph really starts to put on a bit of a spurt towards the end then. Ayrton, who is having a pretty miserable mid stage of the season there, somehow is still in second position. I think that it was Ayrton's incredible performances earlier on the season that kept him there, but Joseph was really starting to come of age there. We also had the 2 Red Bull drivers, who I think, Alex, in all the division, well, no, perhaps that's not the best statement in the world, but definitely the second best driver in all the second best team in all the divisions there was the team of Irvine and Vintage there, because the AlphaTauri in silver and Cobalt was supreme, but Red Bull in bronze was pretty magnificent, weren't they?
Yeah, I think Red Bull and Bronze. I think they sort of complemented each other with they had that consistency in terms of point scoring from both of them. Irvine, and I think had more of the pace, but I think Vintage, like I said, with the actual sort of the mindset where he would make sure that he would get to that finish line, and with other people's penalties, which he also minimised, he would be able to get those positions and points. So I think it worked really well for Red Bull in bronze. I think they both did a fantastic job together.
They did indeed, and I think that they're one of my. I've been saying about Vince has been my driver of the season. He's been supreme in bronze this season. I think he's the biggest leap forward in terms of drivers and points from last season to this season. I think he only scored 8 points last season, and this season he scored 106. So that's almost a 100-point turnaround. That's absolutely incredible. We do, yes, of course, bronze only had half races last season, but even still, it's supreme. Theo won that race there, and was taking a very firm, was starting to really put a hand on that championship trophy there for the drivers. Then we had Senna, who was starting to become a regular substitute. Senna was then, who were making appearances in silver, gold, bronze, and cobalt. Then so good stuff indeed there for Senna. He did have a permanent seat with the Aston Martin in silver towards the end of the season there, but we didn't see the best of it from Senna, I don't think. Also talking to the old guard there, Diego also coming into bronze as well towards the end of the season, and Diego, who was a part of gold, I think, then before he had to take a back seat then. But again, Alex, there is good to see Diego, and of course ALR Sammy was in bronze as well this season. So just like Gunnar, good, isn't it?
Yeah, of course. The retained driver, the keeping our drivers happy, keeping our drivers racing in ALR is what we want. We want to build a good, stable sort of group of drivers who are going to be racing week in, week out. And credit to all the guys who've done that so far and done that this season.
And of course, then Ferrari have got a big gap in the constructors. And look at that, 26 points after 13 rounds then. But we jumped 7 rounds into the future, and it's Abu Dhabi, the final race of bronze then. And Theo was the youngest ever champion in ALR history, so congratulations to Theo. Alex, I only commentated on this about a week or two ago. Still lives long in the memory for me. One of the best races I've ever commentated on in bronze, and it was supreme stuff indeed then. I'm not sure how you was feeling watching this race there with so much on the line. I say so much. It was the Constructors' Championship on the line and the battle between Joseph and Ayrton for second and third in the Drivers' Championship. But my goodness me, this Grand Prix was crazy, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was fantastic. And I think actually from the last races that we watched, the bronze racing, the standard of driving has improved massively through the latter part of the season. So yeah, just credit to the drivers who were racing in the last few races of the season as well. But this race was all over the place because you couldn't tell what was going to happen, and we had the constructors' title on the knife edge, and yeah, it was absolutely fantastic to have it almost like real life, have a championship decided on the final lap.
Oh yeah, it was absolutely crazy stuff indeed. There, I remember you messaged me saying that Aston Martin have won because I was so unsure about what was going on. We all know my Masters are pulled at the best of times, but yeah, certainly that was very much extra pressure. Yeah, you did touch on about how bronze have really the standards improved. Then, of course, we did remember that race in Austria when we in the season review, and now we come to Abu Dhabi, and it has been so much better then. But I want your thoughts on bronze, if you can. Oh goodness me, as Alibi is mounted the barrier there. I want your thoughts on bronze then, and of course, I think Liam. Yeah, I was saying in the broadcast that Liam has had probably one of the most toughest jobs out of all the ALR admins this season. But bronze as a whole, Alex.
Yeah, I think you're right there. I think Liam has had the toughest job as an admin, actually, as a league admin. As I did message Alibi when he went off there saying he's trying to fly back to Saudi Arabia. Yeah, so I think bronze. I think it began as a bit of a difficult season in terms of the drivers who were sort of coming in and out of the league, of the division. I think Liam absolutely smashed it. I think he did a great job as a league admin, and looking forward to what he can do in the new HDE venture coming up in January as well. So I'm sure he'll carry on his excellent form as well. But like I said, towards the end of the season, the second half of the season or so, the drivers really improved their own performances as well, and I think that made it a bit easier for Liam, hopefully. But yeah, I think the standard of driving really improved, and it shows in the races as well, and in the lack of incidents that were reported as well. That sort of it calmed down quite a lot, and a lot of people were much more considerate, showed more respect to each other on track as well.
Yeah, I think Liam went from going to bed on Friday morning to actually going to bed on Tuesday night. So yeah, good stuff indeed there. But yeah, it was a very tough it was a very tough season there for Liam. Yeah, and I think he did a really good job there. And hats off to him as well, because I think a lot of other people probably would have packed it in. I know I would have done because it was crazy at the height of was a very tough season. But unfortunately for Liam, I think he's got me as a driver next season. So if he thought this season was tough, just you wait till next season. We have got we've got Connects and Carrot Finger, who's making his debut tonight along with Resify. These two drivers were supreme. I was standing up watching these two absolutely fly in Abu Dhabi. It was really good stuff indeed there. And a Carrot Finger is also one driver who I think saw the stream and ever since and came through, and I'm sure he came through the website indeed then. So that really made me happy, Alex. I'm not sure if you was quite happy about that, but the fact that he watched our stream and then joined the ALR family after just watching a couple of races. And that really made me really chuffed inside.
Yeah, well, like I said, it's like we want to grow the league and we want to have some good drivers to do that as well, and we need the good drivers to do that. Like I said, we've got a great core bunch, and like I said, and I think right, we'll welcome everybody to sign up and to join, of course, as well. And yeah, credit to Carrot Finger, credit to all the guys who've joined throughout the season as well, not just himself, but yeah, we will welcome you all on board. We want to try and get you racing as well with us, and hope you enjoy.
Indeed, then. And of course, well, as we get down to the twilight of Abu Dhabi and also the twilight of bronze as well, as this season review is coming to a close as well. This is where it really started to kick off, this Grand Prix did. And I could watch this Grand Prix over and over again. I might have to do it on mute though, because there's an irritating ginger guy that keeps yelling. So I'm not sure how you guys go through the stream about watching him. Shadow's then doing a great job. Then as we've seen in the Hungarian Grand Prix, he should have. He's been very unlucky over the course of the season. Now we've seen Theo making a few mistakes in this Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. I'm wondering if that was. Do you think that was because of what was on the line in the constructors there for Theo, or do you think that he just took his foot off the gas there, knowing he's already got the drivers' championship?
Well, I think it was a bit of pressure. I think in terms of having to get those results, of course, and get the results for the constructors' title as well in Abu Dhabi. And it was I mean a credit to Theo. He's had a fantastic season. I think he just wanted that extra little bit just to put the cherry on top, sort of thing. But regardless of whether Ferrari won the constructors or not, I think he's absolutely smashed it this season, and he's been an absolutely brilliant racer, brilliant driver to have in bronze throughout.
He has indeed then, yeah. And I think it's actually quite nice to see Theo really pushing on for that Constructors' Championship. Aston Martin at this stage of proceedings there was nowhere near the Constructors' Championship. Was look at that, Joseph down in 9th position there. Gunnar in 12th position. Roscoe's in 10th there. Theo was limping after that spin earlier on then. It was very tense affair as this was just in Ayrton there. He had a drive-through penalty, Ayrton did, unfortunately then. But Ayrton's end of the season was supreme. He was very unlucky with safety cars and stuff, wasn't he, Ayrton? He probably could have and should have won a couple more Grand Prix. Won 3 in the end, though, so that's not too bad, is it?
No, it's not too bad. No, not at all. I think he's done a great job, and yeah, fantastic stuff from him there as well. So yeah, really good from Ayrton. I think he's had a fantastic season. I know he got a few unlucky results, but he's done a really good stuff throughout the season as well.
He has indeed. And Joseph, another driver. I feel that Joseph went on the radar, certainly went under my radar for some of the races throughout the season. But yeah, the last couple of races there, Joseph was absolutely supreme stuff indeed there. And we're getting a clip of the Ferrari team there just really just imploded here. As we're coming to the end of this reel now, Alex, have you got one more final word then for the for bronze as a whole then? Because I've really enjoyed the latter half of the season especially.
Yeah, it's been absolutely fantastic to have bronze coming back, obviously last season, and I think everyone's really improved from last season into this season as well. It's been fantastic to watch. Massive congratulations to all the drivers who competed in bronze, and we couldn't have done it without you, of course. And I think Theo, Ayrton, and Joseph all done a fantastic job, especially towards the end of the season, and sort of competing for the top prizes and things like that as well. Credit to Vintage. I think Vintage has been my standout driver as well, like you said earlier. Yep. But I think everybody in bronze deserves a well done sort of thing, because they've all improved massively, I think, from last season. So well done.
Indeed, Dennis. We just sent Theo, and that is basically the end of Ferrari's dream, I think. Then, well, it was, but Joseph still had to get a few positions, didn't he? This was such a tense end to the race. I absolutely love it, and This is absolutely mega stuff indeed. There, but of course, we need to round up this review, don't we? I think this is probably the worst race to end on, really. But unfortunately, it's the last race of the season. I just want to keep talking about it, Alex. But of course, we're time boxed, don't we? Because we want to know who has won the awards then as well. But on this final lap of bronze, then it's just underlines of how brilliant bronze has been as a category in the 4 seasons it's been a part of. Of course, our first ever champion was New Potato. Second one was Vintage. The third champion was Dylan, and then Theo, the youngest ever champion in ALR history. So superb stuff indeed there, and it's very much has been a privilege to commentate over all you bronze drivers. That I've very much thoroughly enjoyed it. Then absolutely tremendous stuff indeed. Then right then, Shadows then is now 3.8 seconds away from Carrot Finger at the moment, who's on his debut, doing quite a stand-up job, isn't he? That Carrot Finger. So superb stuff indeed. Adam, who's got 12 seconds of penalties there. Unfortunately, there's a couple of penalties that is really going to hurt the drivers, which is such a shame there. But overall, I think they've done an absolutely brilliant job in the final stage of this Grand Prix. Then, and here is Shadows, and he deserved to win this race. He deserved to win a couple of races, to be fair, didn't he? However, absolutely fantastic stuff. And he rounds the final turn now, and superbly done indeed. And I think Alibi won the race in Brazil a couple of races ago as well. So congratulations to Alibi. We had a lot of Grand Prix winners throughout the course of the season in bronze there, but it was Joseph who clinched the Constructors' Championship at the very end there with just one lap to go, as Alex said there, reminiscent of what happened in the real world of Formula One. So really good stuff indeed then. And at the final classification then from the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, so supreme stuff indeed. You mad bro, of course, I would love to have seen you mad bro in the championship a bit longer than what he was there, but when he was in here, he had a couple of pole positions, he had one Grand Prix win as well, and I think he's a superb talent, and I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do in HD. I'm looking forward to seeing what all these drivers can do in HDE for next season then. A bit of privilege. It's been a privilege to have Alex alongside me then for the bronze review. I've thoroughly enjoyed this one. It's been a great watch back as well. Incidents, action, all the way through. Of course, but towards the end then, it was not about incidents, but it's about the drama, wasn't it there? Theo, the youngest ever champion in the bronze history. So supreme stuff indeed there. As we just looked down then. Roscoe in the end there just about avoided relegation. I think he finished in the top 10 last season, but unfortunately only 17th this season there. Irvine supreme 5th position there, but I thought that Irvine was going to be the team leader in Red Bull, but it was the other way around. It was Vintage who was absolutely superb, wasn't he? Vintage was there, and of course, as me and Alex have both stated, we don't agree too often there, but yes, I think we've nailed that one supremely. Both driver of the seasons, hands down then. Diego, unfortunately, was a part of the relegation, unfortunate part of the relegation zone in the Mercedes car, but of course, he did join quite late there. And hats off to Ariel. He had 3 of the 4 races in Abu Dhabi there. Of course, so he's at one for the future indeed then. And same for Mac. And also connects then a couple of reserve drivers doing a supreme job. Thank you very much for joining us tonight then. I hope you all enjoyed your Christmas period. We'll see you in the new year for HDE. The awards is coming up next. Goodbye.
Mate now, going for a slipstream up into P3 now is Joseph. Lewis is side by side with his teammate. He needs to think about the strategy here. Think about it and work together with your teammate rather than try and attack your teammate, as he's going to lose a place now to Shadows, I believe, as well. There's banging wheels, and Shadows has gone in very deep there. He's just made the corner. Shadows done a great overtake there. Fantastic stuff from Shadows. Good stuff indeed. He's got the DRS now on Joseph as well. Can he get the move done into turn 3? Looks like it's going to be side by side down the straight as round the corner they go. Joseph needs to be careful there, because of course he can't turn in with Shadows there, and Shadows has made that move.
And now Mitsubishi Ayrton is off in the third position, or is he? He's up the third position. Lewis Williams on the inside, Ayrton is on the outside. He is up in the third position. Ayrton is fantastic. And now we got Theo, who is now right underneath the rear wing of Lewis Williams.